When you hear the name Rothschild, you probably think of a few things, right? Immense wealth, unbelievable power, a banking dynasty that basically financed history as we know it. But what if I told you their most incredible story isn't just about money, but also about wine? Yep, it's a tale of two totally different empires, both conquered with the exact same playbook.
And that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a family that built its fortune on the cold, hard logic of international banking pivot to master the subtle, ancient art of winemaking? I mean, one is a world of numbers, of networks, of lightning-fast deals. The other is a world of soil, of seasons, of patience. They feel like they're on different planets, but they are connected by a powerful, hidden thread.
You see, here's the secret. It's not that they learned a totally new business. It's that they took the same brilliant, kind of ruthless and visionary blueprint from their first empire and used it to build a second. This is the story of how that one blueprint conquered two very different worlds.
To really get this, we've got to go back. And our story starts not in some grand palace, but in the crowded, cramped confines of an 18th century ghetto. This is where it all began.
This guy, Meyer Armschul, his ambition was just way too big for the discriminatory walls of the Frankfurt Jewish ghetto. He saw that finance wasn't just a way to make a living, it was a tool, a way to smash through social barriers and build a dynasty that would last for centuries.
So, what was his masterstroke, his big idea? He took his 5 sons and placed them like strategic pieces on a chessboard, right across Europe. Each son was sent to a major financial hub, London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, with one mission: set up a bank and build the family network.
And you have to see this as a system, not just a bunch of separate banks. This was their real game changer. They built the 19th century's first private intelligence network. I mean, while their rivals were waiting for news to arrive by stagecoach, the Rothschild brothers were sharing market-moving information and capital at incredible speeds. They always knew things first. This powerful, unified network was the blueprint.
So, with their financial empire locked down, the family turned its sights on a completely new world. But here's the thing. They didn't need a new rulebook. They just brought the old one right along with them.
And then we come to this one. Single year, 1868. This is the year everything changes. The year the Rothschilds officially plant their flag in the world of fine wine.
And just look at what they buy. Baron James, the same guy who is fueling France's Industrial Revolution, he doesn't start with some small, up-and-coming vineyard. No, he goes straight to the top and acquires Château Lafite, one of the original 4 first growths of Bordeaux, the absolute pinnacle of quality. They didn't just buy a winery, they bought a legend. It was a strategic move, just like buying a bank.
The whole mindset was identical to their banking strategy. This wasn't just about making some nice wine. It was about building a new legacy. They acquired the absolute best, they invested for the long term, and they chased perfection with the same relentless drive that built their entire financial empire. But hold on, the story gets even better, because the next generation wasn't content to just follow the rules. In fact, one young baron decided he was going to break them.
Meet Baron Philippe. At just 20 years old, he takes the reins of the family's other Bordeaux estate, Château Mouton. Now, Lafite was the established icon, but Mouton was ranked as a second growth, and for Philippe, that just wasn't going to cut it. He was a rebel, an innovator, a real showman.
And he didn't just make wine, he started a full-blown revolution. First, he demanded that all his wine be bottled at the estate. Now that sounds normal today, but back then, it was a radical power play to take quality control away from the merchants. Then, he did something nobody had ever thought of. He decided to turn his wine labels into a world-class art gallery. And all the while, he waged this relentless, 50-year-long battle to get Mouton's official ranking changed.
And would you just look at the artists he brought in? The tradition started in 1945 to celebrate the end of World War II, and it just became legendary. We're talking Dali, Miro, Picasso, Warhol. It wasn't just a label on a bottle anymore. It was a statement. It was pure branding genius, fusing the prestige of fine art with the prestige of his wine.
And then, in 1973, after 5 decades of fighting, of lobbying, of just refusing to take no for an answer, he won. The rigid, basically unchanged since 1855 Bordeaux classification was officially amended. Mouton was elevated to first growth. It is the only change of its kind at that level, ever. An absolutely monumental triumph of pure willpower.
But Baron Philippe's incredible victory wasn't the end of the story. Nope, it was more like the starting gun for a whole new era of global expansion, taking that family blueprint worldwide.
Using that same old strategy of identifying places with huge potential, they expanded into new territories. They saw the promise in Chile, they formed a powerhouse partnership in South Africa, and they found incredible quality in a region of France that others were overlooking. Every single move was a careful, strategic investment.
So what does the modern Rothschild wine blueprint actually look like? Well, it rests on 3 core pillars. The first one is terroir. This is just a deep, almost spiritual respect for the land, the belief that a truly great wine is just the purest expression of one very specific place on earth.
The second pillar? Innovation. Look, they honor tradition, but they are definitely not slaves to it. They'll use everything from satellite imagery to monitor their vineyards to the most advanced scientific research in their cellars. The goal is always the same: relentless improvement.
And the third pillar is sustainability. They get it. Their entire business depends on the health of the planet. So for them, this isn't just some trend. It's a core part of thinking long-term, making sure their vineyards are going to be thriving for generations to come.
So you see, that's when the connection becomes crystal clear. The field of play changed from stock markets to vineyards, but the blueprint stayed exactly the same. An obsession with being the absolute best, a relentless drive to innovate, and a vision that's focused not on next quarter, but on the next century.
At the end of the day, that's what the name really stands for. It doesn't matter if it's backing a government or bottling a Grand Cru. The Rothschild signature is a guarantee. It's a dynasty built for permanence.
Okay, let's just put the 2 blueprints right next to each other. The financial empire was built on controlling information, building an unbeatable network, and having long-term strategic vision. The wine empire, it's built on understanding terroir, which, if you think about it, is just another form of vital information, a deep commitment to innovation, and that same unwavering strategic vision. 2 worlds, 1 powerful blueprint.
From the walls of a ghetto to the vineyards of the world, the Rothschilds proved that a powerful blueprint can conquer just about any industry. It's a legacy built on information, innovation, and seeing generations ahead. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. If you had a blueprint that powerful, what world would you conquer next?